Welcome to the Too Busy to Eat Show. I am Greg Zaffalato, the host of this show. Today we have Helen Marshall with us all the way from Australia. So I can't wait for you to hear Helen's story, her journey really from, really a terrible health situation to now where she's helping hundreds of people change their lives and have the same experience she's had with going from, miserable, unhealthy to vibrant and energized. So she's went from this unhealthy person to now she coaches people. She's got a thriving food product company. She's got 2 kids. She's got a great family. She's had a really life-changing experience, and now she's changing other lives. So I don't want to give you all the details because I want you to hear from her. But now, if you enjoy this episode, I would love for you to comment, leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher, and just let me know what you think. But now, let's get to Helen. Well, welcome, Helen. I'm so excited to have you on the Too Busy to Eat show all the way from Australia.
Woo! Thanks, Greg. It's really cool to be here. And I really love that I'm starting the morning on a Wednesday and you're finishing Tuesday? Or is it Thursday? Who knows what day it is?
Well, Wednesday, Thursday. So for us, we're finishing Wednesday and you're starting Thursday morning, which is very exciting. That's very
Thanks for letting me know. I wasn't sure.
Well, it is early morning for you. So,
Yeah.
And you have
give me a chance.
Your coffee hasn't your bulletproof coffee hasn't kicked in fully yet, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh man. So like I said, I'm very excited to have you on. Reading about you and understanding your story. We've had a lot of similar paths. I didn't go through some of the things you had to go through, but our backgrounds or the people that have influenced us are similar. So I would love for you to share with us more about your story so people can get to know you.
Sure. Cool. Love to, Greg. Okay. Well, my health journey started probably when I was about 14, which was when I first saw the marketing campaign that fat made you fat.
Right.
And for 25 years, I wouldn't so much as touch an avocado, let alone eat any, olive oil or animal fats or coconut oil, nothing like that. So years and years of munching down on salad with no dressing on, which is just such a fail because I would have just missed out on absorbing all of those beautiful nutrients that you need the fat for. So 25 years of living a low fat, high carbohydrate diet. I worked in the leisure industry, so I was a personal trainer, gym instructor for a good 10 years, mostly working with women. And the main focus for women that I saw was I want to lose weight and tone up. It was all very external, There wasn't really any link between food and mood back in those days, back in the 90s, right? So I carried on this path, got out of the leisure industry because it was really shocking hours, really bad pay. And so I went into the corporate world. I was a business manager for an international company for a good 10 years, very high stress, sales and marketing business manager role. But I was still kept on with my low-fat eating and smashing the gym. So I was going to the gym a good 3 to 5 classes a week and really felt like if I stopped that, I would just balloon into a big fat person. So that's where I was coming from. So fast forward a few years, I got married, moved to Australia. I'm from England, if you're wondering what this strange accent is.
A little mix. Yeah.
From the north of England. And then I went on to have children. And it was kind of having the children kind of just really maxed out my whole system. As many of us children of the 70s and 80s, we'd been on, every time mum was working, so every time, no disrespect to mum, she's great, but every time that I got some kind of illness, I was down at the doctor's getting antibiotics.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was on a course of antibiotics for acne, which is obviously, we know now, a key marker of, gut problems.
Right.
But I took antibiotics for, I don't know, I can't really remember, but about 5 years of taking an antibacterial antibiotic so just annihilated my gut health. Plus, during those years, a lot of stress, a lot of binge drinking at the weekends, just like the norm, the culture of that kind of, So then when I had my kids, a few years into having children, I just felt absolutely exhausted. My main symptom was chronic nausea. So I just felt sick all the time. Yeah, it was really disgusting. So kind of morning sickness with a shooter of a hangover, every day.
Oh, gosh.
And I couldn't understand. Yeah, it was really horrible. And I couldn't understand why I felt like this because, I was looking into my bowl of superfood, buckwheat breakfast cereal with my skim milk. And I was thinking, I eat really healthy. How come I feel so shocking? So anyway, so it sort of just it went on, and my mental health got really bad, Greg. So I just had a lot of anxiety. When you're feeling sick all the time, you don't really feel like going on holiday. You don't really feel like going to any events where you're going to be stuck somewhere. So I developed a phobia of flying and developed a phobia of the kids getting sick. It was just that was all I was thinking about. Yeah. And I know about Louise Hay, rest in peace. She's an amazing woman. So I was really trying to slap affirmations on how I was thinking, thoughts create reality. Thoughts create reality. Come on, Helen, you can get yourself out of this. But I just couldn't. It was just this So anyway, so in a really dark moment when I was talking to my husband, I just blurted out the words, I need to go gluten-free. I don't know where it came from, but I just thought, right, I need to go gluten-free. Okay, I can do that. And so I put it on Facebook, like you do, right, for accountability, these days, right? I'm going gluten-free. Well, here I go. And one of my friends said to me, well, if you're going to go gluten-free, why don't you go paleo? And I'd never heard of paleo. So what the hell is this? What do you mean? No grains, no sugar, no legumes, no alcohol, no dairy. What the hell? That being what my whole diet had been based on about, the food pyramid, conventional wisdom. So I thought, you know what? I feel so desperate and I'm really highly motivated when it comes to my health. So I was like, I'll just do this for 6 weeks and then I'll go back to eating, 6 slices of wholemeal bread a day.
Yes. Yeah. Right?
Experiment. That's healthy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And a bit of an N equals 1. So anyway, after having a hideous 5-day detox, feeling worse than ever, I popped out of the other side and I just knew I was never going to go back to eating that food again because holy moly. So anyway, so that I felt very evangelical. I couldn't believe that all of these things that I just thought were part of getting old, like brain fog, constipation, no libido at all whatsoever.
Right.
Heavy periods, lots of premenstrual symptoms, all of those things that are just kind of normal and very common just went, including all of my chronic. I used to get headaches. I used to pop Nurofen like no one's business. I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night to get some Nurofen just to go back to sleep because of the headaches. Yeah, it was really bad. Plantar fasciitis. Just the whole body was a wreck. Right. But when I went to the doctors like, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. Well, it is normal.
Oh, but I don't feel good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I got evangelical, started a blog. I thought I need to get out and let these people know, especially all those women that I coached in the gym, and I basically was saying to them, eat less, move more.
Right.
I felt like I had some kind of making up to do to say, actually, this is flawed advice and it's not your fault that you're overweight. And you don't need to, food doesn't need to be punishment and, exercise doesn't need to be, calories in, calories out, that kind of difficult balance.
Yes.
So I started to blog and people would stop me in the street and put their hand on my arm and say, oh my God, Helen, I feel exactly like you do. I've been taking anti-nausea tablets for years. What can I eat? What can I do? So I started to be a coach and coach people. I did the Mark Sisson Primal Health Coaching course, which is fantastic. Big fan of Mark. I've now gone on to coach over 200 women. I do it mostly in a group because I really find that the group energy is such an amazing catalyst, especially for women. So my groups are women only, just to really have that sisterhood, and the vulnerability and the real sharing really helps other women know that they're not on their own, they're not a freak, and everyone else is experiencing similar things. So as I was going through my journey, I was sharing recipes, and people were saying to me, "How have you got so much time to cook? Like we're too busy to eat. We don't eat, let alone cook. So I said, well, how about I make some food for you? And that's how my gluten and grain-free range of food came to be. So we make, so I just started doing it at my local farmers markets, into the health food shops, direct sales to my clients of paleo breads, paleo pizza bases, just for that super convenient food, as well as jellies, just a really cool way to get extra gelatin into the system, and cookies for that time when you want to have something delicious, but you don't want to fall off the wagon, right? Because there's so much falling off the wagon. Right? So basically, my brand helps make going primal more doable and sustainable.
Right.
So I did that for about a year and a half, and then meanwhile my health was improving, and my intuition, or the universe, the infinite, whatever you want to say, told me that I needed to franchise my business so that I could get the products to a bigger audience.
Right.
And also because my corporate life was in recruitment, and I saw a lot of mums that wanted to go back to work, but you can't find, there's not many jobs that you can get around school hours, around school holidays.
Sure. Right.
So this just really empowered them with a home business that they could do that fitted around their kids, just from baking some beautiful food and really contributing to their community. So that's my story in a nutshell. And here we are.
Well, that is a remarkable story. It's an inspiring story, and that's and you've not only changed your life, you've created a business, and you are helping others either create business or changing their lives through changing their health. Which, I mean, that's got to feel good. I mean, it's got to be rewarding.
I definitely feel like I'm really rocking the human experience, in terms of just really feeling amazing of what I'm doing, following my heart. It's very fulfilling, and it's totally terrifying as well, right?
You have all these people relying on you and seeking your advice. And it's a big responsibility.
Yeah, and when you start your own business, if you have got any stuff that you need to work on in terms of your beliefs about yourself and what you can do, that stuff is going to come up. So that's what I mean about the terrifying. I call it terrixcitifying. It's like a mixture of being terrified and excited at the same time, So it's like, well, I can't do this. Who am I to do this? No, I can't do this. It's just this whole, it's an experience.
I like that. What was that word again? Because I don't know if I can say that.
Terrixcitifying.
Terrixcitifying. Oh, I said it. Okay, that's pretty exciting. Okay, that's got to be in the show notes for sure. Okay, that's perfect. So I'm going to go backwards a second. I'm just fascinated because I had a really a negative health journey that led me to Mark and so forth, and down my path too. What was some of the advice that you were getting from your medical doctors when they were saying you're healthy but you were feeling miserable? Were they telling you? Were they giving you medication? What were some of the things that were going on then?
Yes, well, so the advice that they're giving me was, look, there's nothing wrong with you. Here's some anti-nausea tablets to stop feeling sick. So let's just treat that symptom. And also, you're probably just depressed because you've just had a couple of kids. You've probably got postnatal depression, or so it was along those lines. But I've for years we've been more down the naturopath, homeopath, natural way of treating. So I love my doctor. She's great, but I generally go to her for the diagnosis.
Yes,
and then I would seek for So it was, I wanted to know, first of all, when you feel like that, you're sure that you're dying of some hideous disease, right?
Yes.
So I wanted to get all of that wiped out, and in a way, like I was kind of, and it's really bad, but I was kind of hoping I was dying of a horrible disease because I felt so flipping really
miserable.
horrible.
Right.
Yeah,
And for a
just felt
long period of
awful.
time, that's hard to
Yeah.
deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, it made you just have this default mood of like, what's the point? Is this it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which
Well,
is,
not fun. That's not fun. No. Now,
no,
I
no,
want
no, no, no.
to move on to the good part, which the positive side is when you went through this, because it happens to so many people, and you see this all the time now in your coaching. But now go back to when you went through your first 6 week. Do you remember some of the things, the changes that happened in those first 6 weeks of changing your diet?
Sure do. Well,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, it was like going backwards because my gluten, I think gluten is my kryptonite, and
Yes.
ditching the gluten after so many years of 18 serves or whatever it is of carbs a day, in the way of like pastas, breads, and healthy high fiber cereals, which I thought was going to help with my constipation, which
Right.
didn't.
No.
So wasn't good. So first of all, it was a detox,
Yep.
and then, so as I say, I felt like I went backwards, but then like a few days later, you kind of like pop out of the other side with this.
Yes.
It's like this fog lifts.
Yep.
And you can see things differently, and the colors are better, and the music sounds more amazing, and that cuddle with somebody you love is just so much. I don't know. It's just like this connection that you get to the rest of the universe just becomes so much more apparent. But that's a bit woo-woo. So going back to some basics, I started to be able to go to the toilet again. So, this might be slightly, that's big. And, this might be slightly TMI, but I was going to the toilet maybe 2 or 3 times a week. To then be going every day, sometimes twice a day. It was just like the most liberating feeling ever. And then sleep. I've never been able to sleep in my life. And after like probably within, I can't remember exactly, but within the first few weeks, I started sleeping like a husband. Like, there's that saying, sleeping like a baby. Well, I don't know if you've got kids, Greg, but it's a crock, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Well, sleeping like a baby. So, but sleeping like a husband. Yes, I started sleeping like a husband, and that was amazing. Yeah.
That is so funny.
And yeah, it's true. It's more accurate, right? And then just energy, right? Energy wise, just getting off that roller coaster of ups and downs. Just have that evened out energy all day just made everything more doable. So, like you weren't that shouty mum at the end of the day who was exhausted. You just had more resilience, I guess.
Right.
More resilience for everything that comes your way in life. Yeah.
And that's, you're talking about, sleep, digestion, energy. These aren't little signs of health. These are your life. That's what makes life enjoyable, to be able to sleep and be energized and feel good, and mood improves because you're not, you don't have digestive issues. And it's life changing. That's now. You were doing this. Now you're also an entrepreneur. You're creating a business. And I know that came after this change, but you were a businesswoman. You still are a businesswoman.
Yep.
You work in the corporate world. How were you managing that at the time?
Oh, not very well, to be honest. When I look back, it was very much a sort of work. You sort of felt like you were working to the end of the day, waiting to the end of the week, waiting until you had your holidays. So you weren't really present, and you didn't really have a great deal of happiness in the now. Right. And there was a lot of stress and anxiety. It was a sales job, so you were starting on zero every month, and there was a lot of pressure. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of, I used to sneak out of the office to go to the gym because I knew that would improve my productivity in the afternoon. Whereas if you just sat at a desk for 10 hours, you just, because that's what you're meant to do. I just found that, very highly stressful, didn't cope very well. Yeah. And that's why I left and moved to the country.
Yeah. And that's what you did. Now, contrasting now you have good health. You have a thriving business. Yes. You have two children, right? How old are your kids?
That's right, yeah.
How old are your kids?
Sam's 10 and Millie's 7.
Okay, you're
And they're
right
great.
along this. We're 13 and 10, so we're just
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Similar.
So now, how you have you're a thriving business. You're a businesswoman. You have a family. You have demands on your time from the people you're coaching. How do you balance that now?
Yeah. Right. Great question. Well, have you ever heard of something called Parkinson's law?
Yes. 80-20.
Love it.
Yes.
Parkinson's law is that and my mum said this to me years ago because she's a businesswoman and very successful. And she said that work spreads to fill the time that it's given.
Yeah.
So if you sat down, and that's how I get everything done, right? So if I say, right, I've got all day. So at the moment I'm writing a book. I've got all day to write a book, right? I'll guarantee that I'll go and do some online banking, hang out the washing, have a workout, answer my emails and my Facebook messages, and then before I know it, it'll be 2:30, haven't done anything on my book, and the kids are coming back from school, right? That's just human nature. That's just like kind of how we go.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have so my key to getting everything done is just to plan. So I have a really strict schedule. It's something that I've only been doing for the last 6 months, but since I've been doing that, my whole life has transformed from being in that, that like kind of, in Australia, we have a saying where you feel like a headless chook, like you can imagine a headless chicken running around like I've got this to do, got that to do. And there's no time. You're not really present. You're like trying to move forward into the next thing. And there's no time to just sit down, have a cup of tea and watch the kangaroos bounce past, because we have them here, really.
Yes, you do have them.
So
country.
We really do. Yeah, it's so cool. So now I have a schedule. So there'll be time to be able to sit and have breakfast with my family. So we all, you've got that connection with your family. Yeah. Then there'll be like half an hour to clean the house up, do a little bit of tidying because that's, I'm still a mum, so I've got to run the house.
Right.
Then there'll be time for a workout, which now the workouts are not ridiculous chronic cardio.
Yeah.
They're 10 minutes, 10 minutes of lifting heavy things, or I'll go for a bushwalk. Or a beach walk or a sprint. It's non-negotiable. It doesn't take long. It's 10 minutes, right? Yeah. And then I'll go into my work day, but each of my appointments is scheduled to fit a certain amount of time.
Right.
And then I have beautiful things in there too. So like today's my day. I get a massage.
Oh, nice.
We've got a spa outside in the bush. So my husband and I have like 3 or 4 nights where we have like a date night in the spa with a glass of wine. So it's just about having all those different areas of your life. Like when you're an entrepreneur and you're passionate about your business, you seriously could just work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right?
Yeah.
But to be able to kind of put things into into a planning schedule just gives me that little bit more spontaneity and to have that little bit extra breathing space and knowing that everything is going to get done and there's no need to kind of stress out about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I love that. Yes, and I like what you said. That's the strict or disciplined schedule. I mean, that's how an entrepreneur that's on their own time. That's the only way to survive. If you're not, you won't. Sure. It won't happen. Now, what's a like you have the busy person out there. You back 10, 15 years ago. What's one piece of advice you would leave with that busy person to help them, get back onto the road to health?
Sure. I think that the one thing I would ask the busy person who wants to get that balance and get on the road to health would be, what's your vision for the future? Like, how do you want your life to look? Because a lot of us are just in this, we're kind of like little, hamsters on a wheel, just going through the motions of it's what we've sort of been expected to do. So, go to school, go to uni, get married, get a job, get a bigger house, get a mortgage, just like this. Is that really what you want? So just taking the horrible questions that you never have time for. But if you actually just take time to ask yourself, how do I want my life to look? What's the most important things to me? How do I want to go through life feeling? Vishen Lakyami, who from Mind Valley, he's done an amazing meditation called the 6-phase meditation, which is fantastic. Yeah. He says that the 3 biggest things for human experience are growth, experience, and contribution.
Wow. Okay.
As opposed to, flash car, nice house, you know what I mean? So
yes.
Create your vision for the future. I have a vision board on the corner on the side of my fridge.
Yeah.
It's got everything on there from, like having a amazing multinational global business, right through to being able to notice the stars, being able to take a moment to appreciate a rainbow,
Yes.
everything.
It's a life balance.
So that you've, yeah. And I think the life balance comes, and this is all Vishen Lakyami's work, so total credit to him, is to have a vision for the future that's pulling you forward, but to have happiness in the now. And I believe that happiness in the now comes from nourishing yourself with good food, moving your body, honoring the lifestyle that us humans thrive on. So, getting out in nature, spending time in sunshine, getting adequate sleep, connecting with our tribe, making all of those things non-negotiable disciplines.
Make that the focus.
So that, and that gives you, it's kind of like a virtuous circle, because the busier you get, the more you need to eat really nutrient-dense food and get good sleep and chill your brain out, right? Yeah. And then the more that you do it, the more you feel like you want to. I feel like I've got such a busy day, I definitely need to meditate today, and that's just kind of, and then it just leads into more and more of success. And what do you know? The times that you step away from the computer where you're trying to force creative ideas out and you go for a walk in the bush is when your intuition really kicks in and you get all of these downloads, right, of ideas. You're like, oh, wow. Yeah. It's so much more productive. Yeah. And more fun.
Yes, a lot more fun. It's an enjoyable life to have that balance and to be able to, and to be able to thrive physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Yeah, that's great. Now, I love your story. Absolutely. Now, I know people will want to connect with you. I mean, I love reading about you. I love what you're doing. So what's the best place to find you if they want coaching or products or just to connect with you and maybe learn more about your story?
Sure. Well, I'd love people to reach out and connect. I'm really easy to find. So I've got a website, which is primalalternative.com. Really easy, primalalternative.com. And I'm also on Facebook as Primal Alternative, which is where I really hang out.
Okay.
And I've got a community on there as well, a group, so Primal Alternative Community. And I'm also on Instagram, but to be honest, I don't really understand Instagram. So I'm on there, but I don't really get it. So Facebook, come and find me on Facebook.
Website, and they'll all be in the show notes. So if somebody needs to find you, that's easy, clickable links to where you are. Well, Helen, I can't thank you enough. Brilliant. I'm excited for your day. You're going to get a massage. You're going to be able to relax a little bit, get work done, and do both of those. But thanks for taking the beginning of your day with us and sharing your story and giving us great advice and wisdom that from what you learned over your life. So thank you so much.